Some doors, some rooms, should never be disturbed, yet last night, I found myself inside, alone. The wind howled like a living creature outside, slamming rain against the windows in erratic bursts. Every shadow stretched unnaturally across the walls, and the flickering lights made the hallways feel strange and hostile. The familiar home seemed different, as if it were alive and watching. I had always avoided the attic, a black door tucked behind dusty furniture, a space my grandparents had always forbidden anyone to enter. But tonight, something pulled me toward it, a strange compulsion I could not resist. Each step on the wooden stairs groaned beneath my weight, echoing through the empty halls. Dust swirled with every movement, filling my nose and throat with a choking scent. The air grew heavy, almost tangible, pressing against my chest. And then I heard it, a faint, trembling whisper, calling my name over and over, echoing from the walls, the floor, and the ceiling, surrounding me from every angle. My hands shook as I reached for the cold iron handle. It was icy, yet almost burning in its chill, sending a shiver through my entire body. Peering through the keyhole, I glimpsed a faint red glow pulsing slowly, rhythmically, like the heartbeat of the house itself. I hesitated, my mind racing, imagining every nightmare I had ever feared. But curiosity, or perhaps dread, pushed me onward, and I slowly opened the door. Inside, the attic was cluttered with old boxes, stacks of forgotten belongings, and thick layers of cobwebs. Dust danced in the dim red light, coating every surface like a fine, choking fog. But it wasn't the clutter that made me freeze. In the far corner, a figure stood motionless, its eyes glowing faintly in the darkness, fixed on me. Every instinct screamed to run, yet my feet felt glued to the floor. I tried to scream, but my voice caught in my throat. My heart pounded as if trying to escape my chest. The figure moved, slowly, almost gliding across the floor, its shadow stretching unnaturally across the walls. A low, hollow laugh echoed from every corner, vibrating through my bones. My breath came in ragged gasps. I stumbled backward, knocking over a stack of boxes, which crashed loudly and echoed like gunshots in the silent attic. The red light flickered, then went out completely, plunging the room into absolute darkness. A voice, dry, cold, whispered behind me, "You shouldn't be here." I spun around. Nothing. But the air pressed closer, heavy, alive, making it hard to breathe. The floor beneath me was icy, the walls stretching and twisting as if the house itself were breathing. Shadows crawled along the surfaces, coiling and uncoiling, circling me, coming closer with every heartbeat. I realized, with a crushing terror, that the attic was no longer the attic I had known. Time seemed to stretch and bend. Minutes felt like hours. Every instinct screamed to escape, but my body refused to move. The house loomed larger, darker, and alive, its secrets pressing in on all sides. I was trapped, alone, with something watching, waiting. Watching my every thought, my every breath, patient and inevitable. And as the darkness wrapped around me, I understood that some doors should never be opened, because once they are, you are never truly free again. The house had stood empty for decades, a forgotten relic at the edge of town. But some doors, some rooms, should never be disturbed. Last night, I found myself alone inside, the wind howling like a living thing outside, rain slapping the windows in frantic bursts. Every shadow stretched unnaturally across the walls as the flickering lights danced in the corners, making the familiar hallways feel strange and unwelcoming. I had always avoided the attic, a door painted black and hidden behind old furniture, marked as off-limits by my grandparents. Yet tonight, an almost magnetic pull drew me toward it. Each step on the wooden stairs groaned like a warning, dust swirling with every movement, filling my nose and throat. The air was heavy, suffocating, almost alive with anticipation. And then I heard it, a faint whisper, barely audible at first, calling my name again and again, echoing eerily from somewhere deep within the house. My hands trembled as I reached the cold, iron handle. It was icy, almost burning in its chill, and a shiver ran down my spine. Peering through the keyhole, I glimpsed a faint red glow, pulsing rhythmically, like a heartbeat. Taking a deep breath, I pushed the door open. Inside, the attic was choked with old boxes, stacks of forgotten belongings covered in thick cobwebs, dust motes dancing in the dim light. But it wasn't the clutter that made me freeze, it was the figure standing perfectly still in the corner. Its eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the red light, fixed on me with an intensity that rooted me to the spot. I wanted to scream, but my voice failed me. My heart pounded like a drum in my chest, each beat louder than the last. A low, cold laugh echoed from every corner, making the floorboards tremble beneath my feet. Shadows flickered across the walls as if the house itself were alive, watching my every move. My breath came in ragged gasps. Slowly, the figure began to move, gliding across the room without a sound. I stumbled backward, knocking over a stack of boxes. The red light flickered and went out completely, plunging the attic into darkness. A voice, dry and chilling, whispered behind me, "You shouldn't be here." I spun around, my heart nearly stopping, but the room appeared empty. Yet I could feel it, something unseen pressing in, surrounding me. The floor felt icy, stretching unnaturally under my feet. The attic walls seemed to bend, grow taller, twisting into shapes I could not recognize. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my body felt frozen, trapped. The wind outside slammed against the house, but inside, there was an oppressive stillness, a silence that was almost alive. Shadows stretched longer, coiling around corners, creeping toward me. I realized, with a sinking horror, that this was no longer the attic I had known. The house had changed. It was larger, darker, and alive in ways I could not comprehend. And I was trapped, alone, with eyes watching from the darkness, waiting, patient, inevitable.